And this is one of those that if you're going to tell them to kind of pretty much keep the bed where it's at unless you have to move it, this is again where I would advise them to sit down. Just to get their body in a relaxed position, because if their body is tense and tight, their grasp is going to be like Godzilla, and they're liable to push right through that pulse. So, all right, Miss Beth. I need to take your pulse today. I need to count how many times your heart's beating, okay?
Okay.
Is that cool with you?
Yes, ma'am.
And the evaluator's going to tell them, tell me when to start counting and tell me when to stop. You need to count the pulse for a full 60 seconds. Tell me when to start and tell me when to stop. Now, I need somebody to jump up here just a second.
Somebody else come up here.
Jump up. Yep, yeah, you sit right in that chair. Now, all of a sudden now, you are the candidate and I'm the evaluator. Okay?
You tell me that.
Okay, so.
Do we start from scratch?
No, just right where we are.
Okay.
Okay, tell me when to start and when to stop.
You want my watch?
Read that and hand me mine if you don't mind. Thank you. Now, if you got a watch on the wall, that's fine. They can use the one on the wall. They can use their personal one. It doesn't make any difference. Whichever one is easier for them to use. If you don't have a clock in your room and you buy one, be sure you get one of those that doesn't make noise.
Yeah, that's what happened to me. Yeah, that's what that thing is up there, but it goes.
Yeah, the quartz ones are pretty bad about that.
Really loud.
So you have to really be careful about your clock. When your room's real quiet, and then that competes with your counting. There's testing sites where I go to. When I come, I take them things off the wall, put them in the drawer. Just stick them in the drawer.
Yeah.
And have them use their own timepiece. Okay. I'm sorry. Okay.
You ready? We're going to begin.
We're going to pretend like it was a minute, okay? That was bad. It was
We're going to end.
We're going to end. Okay. End. It's 60 seconds. You're going to end. Okay. Now, your student is in the driver's seat. If they feel good about what they got, they're confident, they feel good about it, they're at peace with it, at that point in time, they need to thank them, do something, whatever, and then get up, wash their hands, and then they're going to record on the recording sheet that has been given to them. And I actually did take hers for 15 seconds, and so I'm going to say it was 72. All right. Now, when I get through, okay, no, you took it. You took it. So you washed your hands and you wrote that down. You're going to either hand it to the evaluator. Oh yeah, it's back here. 23. Thank you, girl. That's the nice thing about working with teachers. You didn't have to do it. You just show up. If you want to make this like real life, put this on a 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. It used to be these were about a third of a piece of paper. It used to be they looked like this. Now it's the exact same information, except it's on white paper and it's 8.5 by 11. And that'll come in good in a little while. I'll tell you about why that's a good thing. So this is the same thing. I would use what's in your book because it's white, and make me some copies and put this dead center in the middle of your 8.5 by 11. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Don't put it to one side or put it dead center. That's exactly the way they're going to see it.
That's what it'll look like. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
So what's going to happen is that your student's going to write down their results, and the evaluator is going to reach for it or ask them to give it to them, or they can just go ahead and hand it to them. Then the evaluator is going to have it in their hand, and if everything's going smooth and she's confident she wrote down something and I wrote down what I got, if everything's within normal limits, They're just gonna slide it under their boot probably and just keep right on moving. Now, what happens if there's a difference? Let's say that Karen here, she wrote her results down. She handed it to me. And I realized, oh my God, she's about 30 off. I don't say it out loud. I don't say it out loud, but I'm thinking to myself, this is looking pretty. I'm going to let her finish her skill. So what Karen's going to do is that she'll finish out her skill. You know, here's your call bell. Thank you very much. Happy Halloween. There's your call bell. There's no curtain involved in this one. And I wash my hands. I washed my hands before I recorded, but if you want to wash them again, go after it. Okay, so am I finished with that skill? According to what you got. Okay, so now that that skill is over, if there is a difference greater than what's in your book, and what's the pulse difference? 4. For respiration it's 2, and for pulse it's 4. Well, yeah, we're off 4, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say, let me stop the clock. I'm going to come off of their time, their working time. I stop the clock. As the evaluator, I'm going to come over here on the same side that Karen was on. Let me get there just a second, Chuck. Get right here. I'm off the clock now. Her clock is not ticking. I am going to count her pulse. I'm going to count her pulse for a full minute. 60 seconds is over, full minute, okay? Then I'm gonna, in my head, I'm thinking, okay, one of 2 things happen. There's a pulse difference between that arm and this one, or she's just plain wrong. Often, when I'm evaluating, there will be a pulse difference. Here's what your student says to you because they don't know what's going on. She didn't know how to take the pulse, or he didn't know how to take the pulse, so they had to go do it again. That's what they're saying to you, and that's what you're calling me and saying. I don't mean you personally, but
right.
And it's just because you don't know what the system is.
Right.
That's why we're doing this today. So, if that evaluator comes over and checks if there's a big pulse difference, they're going to come back and check on the exact location where the student is. If there's a pulse difference, fine, no problem. Their evaluator will record what they got, and if it's less than 4, everything's wonderful. If it's greater than 4, then it was the candidate's error. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you notice something else that I did, and this is something that you can be doing too if you're not doing it already, wherever, when the student goes to take the pulse, if they go for the arm, then the evaluator's going to take the other arm and cover it up so they can't see the pulse location. That's the reason they're doing that. Because if they're mixed up and they're trying to find it in the middle, or they're trying to find it on the ulnar side, even if they find it on the ulnar side, because some people have a very strong ulnar pulse, what does your book say?
Radial.
Radial. Radial. So when you're teaching them, just kind of remember this little teaching tip, that at some point in time you need to hide your hand. So if they're having trouble, you know, they can begin to figure that out without without seeing what you're doing. Initially on, yeah, let them see what you're doing, you got the model. But that's the reason why they do that. You'll find this interesting, but if a candidate goes to take the jugular pulse in the neck, then the evaluator will do the same thing. They'll go to the same location on the opposite side. If they go to take the pulse here, the evaluator will go at the same location on the opposite side. And then when the skill's over, they'll stop the clock, the evaluator will take the pulse where it's supposed to be taken, and then you move on. Does that help you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But I do think one thing that would help, especially if they're not moving that bed up, down, which is time consuming, is just to tell them, you can pull up a chair and sit down and take your pulse. That's fine. That's they understand. But it relaxes them up, their upper body is more relaxed, and they're more likely, I think, to be successful. Okay, any other questions?
Can I clarify? Even if they take it up here, the evaluator will come back around and take it on the radial side.
That's right.
And they automatically fail because they did not take radial?
Mhm.
Okay, that's what I thought you said.
Exactly.
Just wanna make sure, 'cause it.
Yeah. But during the process of taking the class, just so, because as a teacher, what are you gonna do if they start up here?
Bit
I'm done and say, no, radial.
You know, if you're checking your airway ABCs, if they're dying, you know, if you're getting ready to do CPR, that's probably a good idea, and I guess they still haven't done that one. But that ain't where you're gonna check radio, that ain't radio, that's karate. You're gonna make it, you're gonna turn it into a formative assessment feedback thing.
Okay.
But the evaluator doesn't wanna give them any feedback, and so they're gonna do exactly what the candidate does. As
I've
strange
never had a
as it may
student
seem.
do that, but I just wanted to clarify that it has to be radial, like it's.
Y'all, I've got to tell you, just don't turn that thing off.